Hello, Stuart Sharp here. Today I'm going to give my reading from my autobiography, The Gift. And it's called Peter Walker and the Guitar. A new set of towners arrived in the village to brighten things up. Although in his early 20s, Peter Walker, with his musketeerian moustache and beard, looked like an old man to me. A musician, he formed a folk skiffle group and required a rehearsal room. My mother took a shine to him and his engaging personality. She offered him a shed where we stored our empty beer bottles. Transfixed by the band, I watched in awe. Where have all the flowers gone? Ghost Riders in the Sky, Rock Island Line, and other popular songs drifted out into the midnight air. Pete's fingers flashed across the frets of the strings of the guitar. I wanted to play like that, but it looks so hard. Do you want to join our band? Asked Pete nonchalantly. We're looking for a bass player. He knew I didn't play an instrument, but was willing to teach me some basic chords. Several weeks later, my lessons ended with the abrupt conclusion that I'd need years of commitment to become a good guitarist. Okay, he said, don't get yourself down. He handed me an acoustic guitar. Take this as a gift and practice what I've shown you. Talk about casting pearls before swine. I found I had no ear for tuning it and could not discern when two notes matched. The cat strangling dins created during my practice sessions depressed me greatly. I could not train my fingers to make the chord stretches and had no rhythmic sense whatsoever. Right, try this instead, he said. Pete had acquired an electric bass guitar which sat alone, plugged in, just waiting for a bassist to justify its existence. I thought he was either mad or could transfuse musical knowledge into my head by osmosis. He slipped the guitar strap around my shoulder and I didn't get a choice. Now when we start playing, just pluck any of the strings until you can hear the notes that fit. How can that work, I thought. If you practice hard enough, you will get there. We have a paid gig in Market Harbour in 2 months. This is your big chance. So come over to my cottage every week and I'll teach you, he continued. Now, let Pete tell you what happened.
Back in the early 1960s, I was involved with a small folk group. And in fact, we ran a folk club. And at that time, I moved into a small village in the Midlands in the United Kingdom, a place called Sivertoft. Now we were looking for somewhere where we could practice, and we went along to the local pub and they allowed us to practice in a barn attached to the pub. There was a young guy there, the son of the lady who ran the pub, Stuart Sharp. Stuart was interested in music, was really kind of keen, and asked me if I'd teach him to play guitar. Well, I had a try. It didn't go down too well. I think I came to the conclusion that Stuart had the musicality of a brick, but we got to know each other fairly well. Eventually I moved away from the village, and in fact I moved away from the United Kingdom, and here we are 50 years later, and I found a newspaper article talking about this young man whose picture looked very familiar, And I came to the conclusion that I knew that guy. And I managed, with a little help from the internet, to track him down. And here we are, visiting the UK, and I finally got together again with Stuart Sharp. Now, the strange thing is what has happened over the last 50 years. As I said, Stuart had the musicality of a brick. And I'm not quite sure where it came from, but that has changed somewhat. And I've just been listening to the Angeles Symphony, and what a fantastic piece of music it is. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Very surprised that it's as good as it is. So from somewhere or other, Stuart managed to come up with abilities that I never thought that he would have back in those days 50 years ago when I was trying to tell him what a fret was. I look forward to taking the knowledge of it over to Canada and telling the people that I know there about that piece of music.